put yourselves on mute, please, including James Cooper, Mike Hughes, who I can see. If you could just put your microphones onto mute, that will help us immensely. Thank you. And then when we start, I will call upon people to take themselves off mute before we come to them, which will be extremely helpful if you could do that promptly. Just before we start, and I hope you can all appreciate why this is important, given it's our first game at Anfield since the club were confirmed as champions, and because of the importance of getting the message as far and wide as possible about protecting the health and well-being of our local community, we have, to kick off today's press conference, a special contributor who's going to lead for us. Before we take questions for Jurgen in the normal format to preview the game, we'd like to invite on Matthew Ashton, who is Liverpool's Director of Public Health and is the person leading the public health response to coronavirus in our home city. Given that everyone participating in this press conference has the ability to share information with our supporters, and I believe a lot of our supporters do watch this press conference live via LFC TV and our club social channels, we hope that giving a true expert such as Matthew Ashton this platform will help get across some of those key messages. So with that, hopefully he's unmuted. If Mr. Ashton could unmute himself. And Matt, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you very much. I'd like to start by thanking the club for inviting me here today. It's a great example of the lengths the club is going to support the city's response in promoting the message that this pandemic is not over. On behalf of Mayor Joe Anderson, Councillor Wendy Simon, and the rest of the City Council, I want to thank Jurgen and the club for the great leadership they have shown both on and off the pitch. We are lucky as a city to have them. Despite last night's result, Liverpool are the English champions, the European champions, and the world champions. Truly the greatest team in the world today. Liverpool and Merseyside has been badly hit by coronavirus. We've had almost 600 deaths in Liverpool and over 1,600 deaths across Merseyside. I want to express the city's condolences to all those affected, not just those that have lost their lives, but also to their families and friends. This weekend, the NHS celebrates its 72nd birthday. Thank you to the NHS, to care services, and to wider support services for everything they've done to get us through this pandemic. Thankfully, rates of the virus in Merseyside are currently relatively low, but we know that the virus is still circulating in our communities, and there are signs of some small increases in some areas, and we've also seen outbreaks elsewhere in the country. So now is not the time for any of us to be complacent. I want to thank the overwhelming majority of fans and residents of this great city who have listened to our public health messages over the last 3 to 4 months. And can I remind everybody that those messages still stand? Wash your hands, practice good hand hygiene at all times. Keep your distance, 2 meters at all times possible, and if it's not possible, 1 meter but with face coverings in place. Avoid crowds. They have the potential for the virus to spread much more easily. And if you're not well, stay at home and get tested through the NHS Test and Trace programme. This Sunday, and for the rest of the season, I'm asking everybody to stay at home and watch the match with your loved ones. We can have a big party when this is all over, but that time is not now. Be kind, be safe, be responsible. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ashton. Really appreciate it. And get Jurgen.
Thank you, Matthew. I couldn't thank you more, actually, for all that. And please send my regards and my best wishes to everybody in the NHS and all the fantastic work, unbelievable. And yeah, I could not have said it better. Obviously, we have to show responsibility still. We have to show that we are different in the best understanding, that if we have to do something for the good of our loved ones, we will do it 100%. We prove that so often. You prove that so often, and we have to prove it still now, and especially now, because this is the biggest challenge for all of us in our lives. And even when it looks like sometimes the things easing up a little bit, it's true, but on the other side, it's only because we are so disciplined in the past, and that's what we have to stay. So thank you very much, Matthew. All the best for you.
Thank you very much. Thanks, guys. Okay, and with that, we'll commence with the usual procedures. And if you'd like to unmute James Cooper, if that's okay, and if you can have the first 2 questions, James, and then we'll go to Simon Crabtree. So, James Cooper, hopefully you can unmute. And
yeah, good afternoon, Jurgen.
Hi.
I noticed when Mr. Ashton was speaking so well there, you smiled when he mentioned last night's game. I'm just wondering what the mood is about the place after that result?
I was not in a too good mood after the game. I was not in a really good mood when I went to bed. I was not in a really good mood when I woke up, and then I arrived at Melbourne and was in a really good mood and asked myself why. And I know, because here we change the things. And that's exactly what we do. So the mood is okay. It's like it is. If you lose a game, you lose a game, and that should feel like it feels. We never take it easy. We didn't take that easy last night. But meanwhile, I had, of course, a little bit more time to think about the game, because the problem with the post-match interviews is that you go inside, don't know, have a minute, and then you go outside and have all the interviews. And you're still impressed or have all the impressions of the game. And this game last night, we lost in key moments. And in these key moments, City was better than us. So we gave a penalty away. We conceded the penalty. We conceded after a throw-in, where we left Joe alone in a situation where no player on the planet should be alone against Sterling. The positioning was not right. After another throw-in, we lost, I think Foden scored, and the other two goals when we lost the ball in a situation where we usually don't lose the ball, counter-attacks. Apart from that, we were good. We had good situations, but we didn't finish any of them off. So was it Mo's post? Was it Sadio's big chance? Was it the situation when the cross came from the right side? Sadio and Mo is jumping. Sadio gets the ball but can't see it. So only has 3 examples. We had more of them. And we had even more where we didn't play the final pass. So the game, we had more chances than we had in our 3 when we won 3-1 at home. But we gave 4 goals away, and then you cannot win against City. So that's 2 things. One is the feeling. The other thing is the facts, and both are important, and we will use both. That's the plan.
You could still achieve so many special things this season. How special a thing would it be to go the entire Premier League season at home, having won every single game? I mean, we look back to the history books. No one's done that in the top flight for 130 years.
Look, but I think that shows that it's probably difficult. It's obviously difficult, but you can't do that without thinking about how many games and stuff like this. We never thought about it, how long the run is or whatever, that we didn't lose or that we win, all this kind of stuff. We respect Aston Villa. We respect their situation. We know the situation they are in. And before the game, it looks like with our numbers and the Aston Villa numbers that it's clear. But we never saw football games like this. I cannot approach a football game or prepare a football game when I think, they are bad. Aston Villa has a lot of quality and they do well, and they will defend with a compact formation. That's what I'm thinking about, not the records we can break. So we have to break, if you want, the formation of Aston Villa, and that's what we are concerned about. We had this morning early the Aston Villa meeting, and we saw the things we have to see, and now we have to work with that. The boys have to recover. Tomorrow they get information and 1 session, and then we play again. That's the situation now. It's not the only situation. Look, this season is a very special season. It's special for us in a positive way, but special as well from a challenging point of view. Not only that we had a 3 months break in the middle of the season, as well, we play now in the last 3 weeks, or how long it is, we play pretty much 6 games, which means every 3 days you play a game, and that's really demanding for all of us. And we have to really dig in this situation, and that's what I like of the game last night as well, because the attitude was brilliant. We were really fighting. The desire was there. It was all there. We were in 4 moments not focused enough, and maybe there are some explanations for that. It's the quality of City using these situations, and we have to make sure that we don't have moments like this in the game on Sunday. But still 2 days time to prepare that.
Thank you, Jurgen. Thanks a lot,
Simon. Yeah, thank you, James. Simon from PLP. Please.
Hi, Jurgen. Hello. Jurgen, you mentioned there about how Melwood can change things, and I know we have spoken about it in the past, but obviously there's a new future ahead for you there. So is it the history and the magic of the building? Is it the people? And how can you harness that when it is time to move forward?
No. So I love Melwood. but it's not a history of the building. It's that we are together and work on solutions for the problems we have. So that's the reason. How I say, I love Melwood, but if we would have met in my house, I would have said that's where we changed the things. I was more that I wanted to make it, when we are together, we can start changing the things again, and that's exactly what we do then with. We had a meeting this morning, obviously, where we spoke about us, the situation, the good things, the bad things, the challenges, and all that stuff. And after that, the boys recovered. Means recovery doesn't mean they lie on the bed and get a massage. They have a lot of stuff to do then to make sure that the muscles are ready as quick as possible. Then we had a training session with the guys who are not that much involved last night. That was good. And so now I can start thinking really about how we go in the Aston Villa game, making a lineup. That's what I mean when I say here's the spot where we change the things. It was always like this.
City said before the game last night that their next season was starting when they played you, but I know as far as you're concerned, you're still eager to maintain the focus of what you have to do ahead of you this season, aren't you?
Yeah. I think Man City said that, or whoever from Man City said it, probably Pep or whatever, that they said because they got asked. The City is not thinking about next season. We don't think about next season. We think about this season. City has a lot to go for, and we have a lot to go for. So that's all. We have 6 football games, and we felt last night, we didn't have to feel it too often, but we felt last night how difficult it is, but it's still incredible how did we come in the position, and we know how we did go there. And I saw last night how we did it, because with the desire, the greed and all that stuff, what I saw last night, that's why we are where we are, and we will not stop being like this. But of course, and that's always the same, you need to be 100% concentrated in all moments of the game, and especially against City, because they use each little mistake you make. And that's why, we think only about, not even about the next 6 games, only about Aston Villa. After that against Brighton, then Arsenal, then Burnley, then Arsenal, then Chelsea, then Newcastle. That's how it is. I cannot do it differently, so I have not a big plan, but we will have a plan for Aston Villa.
Thank you, Simon. Guys, the next questions who we've got down will be Juliet, Mike, James, and Carl. Anyone else in the open wants to ask a question, please either use the hands up mechanism on Zoom or send me a WhatsApp. There will be 2 embargoed sections as part of this. I'll make that very, very clear. But we are going to continue on the one press conference, but there will be 2 embargoed sections. Next up, Juliet, BBC.
Hi there, Jurgen. Liverpool don't lose that many matches, or haven't lost that many matches in the Premier League of late. So in a way, when you say it's good that it can change things, was it good that it happened last night, in the fact that, just to pick up from what you said to Simon, that you just have to be 100% on it throughout the whole 90 minutes? Aston Villa you're facing they've got their own challenges for very, very different reasons. And if you just drop that 1%, you will get punished.
So you're right. We didn't lose a lot of games in the last 2.5 years or so, but we lost them, and they always feel really like defeats feel. And so far, we always used that for the next games, and not only for the next game, but for the next games. Yes, and if you think about the things we didn't do well, so in this department we have to show a reaction. The reaction doesn't mean that we have to change everything. We just have to be spot on in these moments, and we cannot switch off or whatever. We have to. So, as an example, Joe was alone in the challenge with Sterling, but he should have shouted at everybody around. Because if he wasn't a challenge, he knew that he's alone. The others maybe didn't look at that in that moment. So these are the situations we have to change. Hendo could have been there. Usually Fabinho should have been there, but he pushed up and all that stuff. So there's always an explanation. Yes, we have to be at 100%. And we knew that always. We knew it from day one. If we want to reach something special, the only way to do that is being 100% in the specific game, which means in all the specific situations. Do we have to lose 4-0 to learn that? I'm not sure, but yeah, it can help. It makes the point absolutely clear. So we will try again to use the information from last night.
Fantastic, Julia. Mike from BBC Merseyside. Mike Hughes. Yeah, Mike, top middle of the screen.
Hi there, Jurgen. Because losing matches has been so much of a rarity for Liverpool over the past 2.5 years, when you have these pre-match meetings with the players, can you sense something different in them in terms of, in terms of learning lessons? Do you sense in them a difference, wanting to put things right, and that's not going to happen? So that there's actually positives to take from it almost.
Yeah, I don't use that and never used things like this in pre-match meetings. I use them in post-match meetings. Means after the game, we speak about what was right and wrong. In the pre-match meeting, we prepare the next game. And there's no time for worrying about things we did not right in the last game. It's not like constantly saying, and here we did that, we had that problem and that problem, if we have that today again and stuff like this. So in the post-match meeting, we make, a resume of the last game, pretty much. And if there are positives, I mention them. So because I'm not from a newspaper or something like that, I don't have to put the finger only in one on and make a headline. I have to write a full article if you want. And that's what I try to do. If there are positives, I mention them. If there are negatives, I mention them. If I think it's necessary. If I know they know already and everybody was so obvious, then maybe I don't mention them. But the pre-match meeting is about the next game, and that's about what we have to do in this game, because we would have to do that if we would have won the last game as well. So there's no difference. It's just about preparing this game with the special needs of the game, with the special needs of the opponent, and nothing else.
Aston Villa, obviously problems in terms of fighting for their Premier League survival. You had a cracking game against them early on this season at Villa Park. What sort of reference point can that be for your players in terms of, more than anything else, it showed that this is a Liverpool team that never knows when it's beaten with those 2 late goals, but also the fact that Villa gave you a good game, and people like McGinn and Grealish, when they're at it, and if they're allowed to be, if they're allowed too much possession, they can cause problems for you.
Again, how like each Premier League team, this game was a special game, and that will be seen as a special game when people speak in 10 years about this season, and they say, okay, that was one of the key moments of the season was for sure the Aston Villa game. I remember exactly how they scored the goal. I remember our goals. I remember a lot of parts of the game, which doesn't happen. It's not the case for all football games we played in this season, for example, but it was a very important one for us. And Villa was not in a bad moment that time. There was in a rather good moment, I think. And since then, a lot of things changed. So can we use this game for the preparation? Not really, but in general, it was a really important game. Since then, Aston Villa changed system, I think twice, playing back 5. Last game they played kind of a diamond. I think bringing Jack Grealish in his best position, maybe. We don't know exactly how Dean will line up against us, but we have to be prepared for different stuff, and that's for all of us the challenge. So now, if some people said rhythm is better than a break, then it was an advantage for City last night. If people say that, but then it should be an advantage for us as well, because Aston Villa had now a week off when we played on Thursday. If people say a break is better than a rhythm, then we have to show that is not the case. So because we have just to be there and give Villa a proper fight. Yes, if Villa has possession, they have they make the pitch big. They play diagonal balls. They use the speed, and they're good. They're good. But usually in games against top 6 teams, they don't have like 50-60% of the ball. It's more like between 25 and 35, something like that. So, but it's not about that. It's about what are they doing in the moments when they have the ball, and we need to have solutions for that. And for the majority of time, hopefully we have the ball, and then we have to find solution for that as well. We did that in the past very often, but we need them tomorrow again, on Sunday again.
Thank you.
Mike. James from TalkSport for a question.
Jurgen, we know that fans will have to stay away from Anfield this weekend. We know why that's so important. But how keen are you to reward those fans with not only a result on Sunday, but also a performance similar to what we saw against Crystal Palace last week?
We are always keen to do that. That the Crystal Palace game is a sensational example for that. But I think the City game last night was it as well. If you are in football, you saw our moments. If you are only watching with one eye, you didn't see them. You see the result and think that was not good enough. But it was not good enough is true. But it was not about that we didn't show respect to our people, to the badge, to the shirt, to whatever, and just went there pretty much with one eye only. We were there 100% with all we have. So if anybody would doubt that in a moment, that would be really strange. And not only for the City, but in general. If anyone would doubt if we will show up and will give our 100%, that would be really strange. I would be really surprised if that would not be the case, because the boys didn't show any sign for that. We are still hungry. We are still or full of hunger, whatever. The boys show me the necessary greed, the commitment, the desire, everything what you need. But in the end, it's a football game, and key moments decide the game, and we have to be there in the key moments, 100%.
Great, and I think, barring anyone else putting their hand up, Carl Markham's going to finish off the Open as it stands at the moment, and then we will go to a breakout for the first of our sections. Yes, Carl.
Hi, Jurgen. In John Henson's post-match interview last night, he said the match was a learning curve for the players. I'm just wondering, for a team that's won the Champions League and the Premier League, what else they still have to learn?
So, yes, we learned a lot in the last few years, obviously, and that's true. And in this game, as I said, the strange circumstances, and you cannot, if I wanted to read a book about it, I don't think there are a lot out there on the market. How to deal with becoming champion on Thursday night and playing a week later, one, if not the best team in the world. So funny, they have to want to prove a point. They have nothing to lose. We have nothing to win. So it was, if you think about all these things, it makes you obviously it's a bit weird, because wow, how we can bring it all together. Usually you go in a game, you want to win it, done. Both teams want the same, both teams similar quality and all that stuff. But to deal with the situation is a challenge. We've been never world champions before. I really think the boys did so far brilliant. That's not obvious in the result against City, but it is obvious for me in the daily work. These boys will go again, and to learn is what we have to learn is that we are ready to work really hard, but that we have to be clear or have to know that these key moments, these little moments in games like this, decided. But we knew it before, but in a special situation, we couldn't do it, obviously, otherwise the boys would have done it. And that's what we have to learn, 100%. But it's not that it's everything completely new. It's the new facts are clear, and we will show that we can deal with it. But that's all. I really think we showed last night already that we can deal with it, but nobody can see that when you look at the result.
Okay. Happy, Carl?
Yeah, just a quick follow-up on that, Jurgen, and following up the education theme. I'm just wondering, in terms of, Nico Williams, Curtis and Harvey Elliott being included in the squad, how important these last few games of the season are in terms of their football education?
Look, here now, that's the next thing, obviously, what we have to learn. I don't think these kind of questions will be asked to Frank Lampard, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and stuff like this. So we are champions now, and we should now bring the young boys. Give them a chance. Let's have a look. So then we lose the games, and everybody's going at us and saying, you lost focus, you are doing not that, you do not this. So we want to win football games. And for winning football games, the best players have to be on the pitch. And when the young boys are part of these best players, then they will be on the pitch. They are so close. They are really good. And they are our future, 100%. But they will not play now because I want to see them in a Premier League game. We don't give Premier League games as Christmas presents. So we cannot do that. We are really in the competition. And it's not only about other teams and what Aston Villa is in that situation, fighting for the league. Brighton fighting for the league. After that, Burnley not, but stuff like this. It's not about respect. We just want to do it because that's the case. And the boys are really good. But how I said, it's not like giving appearances or Premier League games away like sweets. we have to make sure that the best 11 on that day is on the pitch, and the other guys who fit best in the formation will come on, and then we make that decision for the one game, and for the next game another one. But they are around. They are really close. How is that? But we will not give Premier League matches just for fun.